Thank you. This is Melody. Since we killed the cake analogy, I'm assuming you're gluten intolerant. But speaking to, going back to demographics, I'm actually wondering if you think that the demographic makeup of the panel currently is actually telling about the way we experience populism.
I'm not even going to touch that one.
Look, let me say something. I mean, Chris and I actually brought this up, right? So when we were preparing for this panel, I brought it up, in fact, and without getting too much, and it's a great question, by the way, which deserves another debate or another panel. But there is something to be said for lived experience, right? So wait up for my conclusion, but I would wager that Chris and I have a different lived experience. I have lived the effects of at least authoritarian populism, maybe not anarchic populism, but authoritarian, or I don't like to use the word right wing, but authoritarian populism. I've lived it, not just in this country, but in other countries that I've lived in. And so coming from that perspective tinges the way I look at the future. You can call it pessimistic. I don't call it pessimistic. I think of it as realistic, right? So like Christopher was talking about the cycles, right? We've experienced the cycles. I've experienced the cycles. I know exactly, based on personal experience, where I think this cycle is. You can disagree with me, but that gives me an insight into saying, you know what, we haven't hit that zenith. I hope we hit it soon. I hope we develop a ethos that brings people together on American values and cultural values, and hopefully we will. Eventually we will, because the cake will get eaten. I'm sorry, I had to bring it up again. But I think to a certain extent that's telling. All that being said, I wouldn't read too much into the fact that there's two people of color on the right and two people, people, I don't know their ethnic backgrounds on the left, but I'm assuming not. Because there's all kinds of things in, finding speakers that can come to LA and all this other stuff. So I think Alex is the best person to respond to that. But I wouldn't read too much into it, but I think that your question does kind of open up that space about, there's a way of discussing populism academically, and then it's a very personal and emotional subject as well.
Thank you, Essen. Jamie, did you?